はい。続いてご乗車であります渋谷駅まもなく発車いたします。
They really pack them in here, don't they?
Not yet.
No, not yet. I guess, yeah, rush hour is really bad, huh?
Well, we were very observant. We were just watching the culture. We felt like aliens, like investigating the planet, like anthropologists.
Right.
And we couldn't believe what we saw. And we couldn't believe the hypocrisy and the self-deception. People believing that humans are the best and there's progress, when what we saw was stupidity and downward spiral.
Progress was being measured by televisions and
like we have 3 televisions instead of 1.
car size and things that were upside down.
Yeah, what we saw was humans should be ashamed of themselves, actually. They are the most toxic species on the planet.
Okay, so in your opinion, is all of mankind de-evolving, or are there some pockets of evolution?
Oh, sure. I mean, in reality, you know, we overstated the case on purpose. I mean, we were basically responding to a kind of a predominant situation where mainstream pop culture, kind of in conjunction with the ruling class, was going the wrong direction. We didn't really think it would get as low, and that Devo was as real, de-evolution was as real as it's turned out to be. It was like an art joke that we took seriously, but every day I'm amazed at just how devolved this planet has gotten, and mostly at the hands of like leaders who are on the wrong side of every issue, and who rule by fear and ignorance. And of course, within that, there's pockets of people that are totally cool and know that everybody's full of shit. Those are the good spuds.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of the evolutionary creatures on this planet are dolphins, and somehow they keep getting caught in tuna nets. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're losing some of the higher evolved species. So,
Yeah.
we'll all be in the same Planet of the Apes
Yeah, it's all going there. It's all going there.
basket soon enough. Yeah.
The predominant forces in the world don't support sensitive or evolved species. They kill them because if they mistake the fact that you're not mean for weakness, and they get rid of you one way or another. Same like with the dolphins. Dolphins don't want to fight. They don't want to hurt anybody. They like to fuck all day.
Fiddle around with tuna, and that's their downfall.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had been eating sushi before we ever went to Japan the first time, but we didn't really realize what real sushi was. We'd been eating mamby-pamby, shrimp sushi and things like
American
that.
sushi, yeah.
Like safe stuff. And when we went to Japan and saw the real range of foods and weird gelatinous things and bubbly gooey things, and we went to a sushi bar in Fukuoka where there was a saltwater tank recessed into the floor behind a 3-sided sushi bar, and you would sit at the bar and you could look past the sushi chefs to the tank, and the live fish were in there. And they would, at the back of the place, have a long wooden counter with a guy with a net. He'd go and grab one of the fish, toss it onto the counter, and a guy with a leather strap around his hand with a hook would pin the fish by the gills to the counter and slice off thin sliced sashimi right from the living flopping fish, and then deliver it to the table.
Sounds pretty fresh.
So we suddenly separated the boys from the men, and was that the same night? No.
And the flesh from the fish.
The flesh from the fish. So are we not men? And we said, no, we're not. But we got used to it. And then a few nights later in Sendai, Bob Mothersbaugh ate Hoya. Hoyo?
What?
It was some kind of weird
Blowfish?
sea anemone or something. It's a
sea cucumber.
yeah, it's something that lives, you know, in a shell at the bottom, and they dig it out, and it's this red gelatinous stuff. And he proceeded to violently vomit for about 5 hours. He projectile vomited in the hallway of the hotel. That's about as far as he made it.
How do you think Devo has influenced Japanese music? Give me examples of that.
I don't know. I bet Poly 6 would be a better judge of that than us.
We are Poly 6 from Tokyo, Japan.
He's saying as a lesson that maybe he's learned and as a band that he performs. I mean, the one thing that he does do, and maybe to keep you mowing your lawn, their whole policy is about doing something that's different. There's a million rock bands, a million pop bands out there, and to do something that is sticking out, that is something that's different. Exactly. And that's where he stands as
That's what we were about. We were about being original and having ideas and not just being another formula. We hope that people continue to think for themselves and be creative and original. Poly 6 must carry on and teach a new generation what Devo taught.
次の世代にも伝えるぐらい頑張れよっていうことだよね、要はね。
When we went over in the 80s, everything was taken care of by management and record company, and we weren't aware of just all the intricate little problems and details of the bureaucratic mess of getting into Japan. And this time around, without a record company, without management, and with this this guy that basically acted as an agent who did really nothing except get us to sign a paper and then left everything to us, we had to do everything ourselves. So I had to deal fax after fax after fax and email after email after email with the sound company, the lighting people, you know, the hotels, and the people that put on Summerfest. And I had to go downtown and stand in line for hours at the consulate to get us our entry visas and everything. It was ridiculous. They turned me away because somebody actually, they had no criminal record, but they left it blank because they had no criminal record. It said, if you have a criminal record, please list and explain. Well, he didn't have one, so rather than write none like most people did, he left it blank. I didn't see that. They rejected the whole package of material and made him prove that he didn't have a criminal record, and I had to take that back down another day and stand in line another couple hours, even though they acknowledged.
Okay, but from the other side, didn't you feel safer after you knew that he didn't have a criminal record yourself? Or didn't you feel a little better about that?
Yeah, I really did, yeah.
Because, I mean,
Peace
that's the
of
last
mind.
thing we need is a bunch of criminal records on our crew.
Yeah, Homeland Security, thank you, yeah. And I mean, because we know what the cost of freedom is now, and we found out it's freedom. That's what the cost of freedom is. Your fucking freedom, pal.